So 85% of real estate doesn't make it past year 3. Let's talk about what it really takes to make it. And this is the Natasha effect. So welcome to the Natasha effect, where we challenge comfort zones, we clap back at small thinking, and we shift the way we think, live, and lead one conversation at a time. So it's really not a niche podcast. It's about real talk, real growth, faith, fitness, and womanhood, even when it's messy. And I know neither of us have it all figured out, so let's figure it out together. Today, I'm here with someone who brings calm to chaos and facts to feelings. She helps people navigate through the most emotional transactions of their lives, both buying and selling homes. And she does it with such poise and clarity. So we're going to get to know why and how. So let's say what's up with Jin.
Hello. Hi, my name is Jin Lu. I'm a full-time realtor with Keller Williams South Shore.
Awesome. So when someone asks you what you do, right? Real estate, pretty self-explanatory, but how do you differentiate yourself from everybody else that's on Instagram or just, yeah, I do real estate or I'm a real estate agent?
Yeah, I go to, I don't know, probably 2 networking events a week. I go to a lot of these events, and one of the things that I try to allow people to remember me is that I was born and raised in Taiwan, so my first language is Mandarin Chinese. Instead of telling people, hey, yeah, I speak this language, who do you know is buying or selling a house? Contact me. Which is very boring. I always tell them, hey, if you know anybody if you know any rich Chinese speaking lady that's trying to buy or sell a house, just, give me a call. But, in that way, sure, they may not ever know a rich Chinese lady.
Emphasis on the rich, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Got to be a $2 million home for me to help them purchase. But they may never meet somebody that's exactly like that. But from that little sentence, what they know is, 1, yes, I do speak a different language, and 2, that I am a humorous person. So
yeah, it's something I always remember about you. When you said that, you always say it at any meeting we're at. And you just light up the room when you say that. It makes you personable and connectable, which is really important in that type of a transaction. So, and I love the way you explain it. Honestly, I know that you've kind of placed yourself as more of a guide, not like the boss or you make all the decisions. And I think wording it that way is really, really important, especially today when we feel so controlled to make these certain decisions.
So it's funny that when I first started out, some of my mentors always tell us that you are the calm and composed guide of their transaction, of this very important transaction in their lives. Because a lot of times people don't, buy and sell houses all day. They're not investors. They may move every 7 to 10 to 20 years. And that's a very, very stressful.
I never want to move again.
I know, right? So I can only imagine, right? It's a very stressful transaction. A lot of times there's a lot of emotion. So my job, they're still the driver, but I am the GPS and letting them know, hey, here are the certain amount of, here are the market datas. Here are some things that we can do. I advise you either A or either B, and they are the ones to make the decision. At the end of the day, it is their house that they're going to live in. I'm not going to know exactly what they want, but I can advise them, hey, we can do option A or option B. Which one do you like better?
I think that's the biggest difference too, is a lot of the time I feel like, because this is my second home. So when I bought my first home, I was new to the game. Obviously, I had no idea about anything. I felt really lost. I wish I had a Jin when I bought my first house because, oh my gosh, the things I know now, which I guess it was great because it helped me with this house. But what I felt like was that person was making the decisions for me, and not in like a negative way. I just felt not in control. And at the end of the day, you're right. They're not the ones living in the house. They're not the ones that are going to be there. And I almost felt like a number or a transaction. It didn't feel personal. But then I bought this house with Dan Hensler, who is with the Hensler Group, also works with Keller Williams. And he's been in the game a long time. He's an older guy, but he really walked us through the process. But what helped is we did a lot of the research, which I know we talked about, sticky notes, lists, to-do lists, those things that I learned from the first transaction. And I think that if you don't know to do that, having that, buying your first house is essential.
So yeah, 2 things on that. When I was not born and raised in Tampa, but my husband and I, we met in the state of Delaware. We purchased our very first house that over there, and now that I'm a realtor, that I felt like, oh wow, I reflect so much on that particular experience.
Yeah.
My husband found a top-rated realtor on Zillow. He has probably I don't even remember 150, maybe 300 reviews on Zillow. So we're like, oh, he's definitely very experienced. He know what he's doing. However,
Reviews lie.
As you said, I wouldn't say he is experienced, but there's no there's no personal touches.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to really care about us, aside from the fact that we will add one more number to his Zillow account.
Yeah.
And that's how I felt when I was
To his
doing
resume.
that process, which I didn't even know that, that was not a good thing, that, as a realtor. So now moving down here, I started going into real estate. I realized that's not how I want to do this business. I want to make sure that my clients are informed every step of the way, and I'm not going to just treat them like just a number. So, and then the second thing I wanted to talk about during, I kind of revamped my buyer process. So, you know how like purchasing a home is a huge stressor for a lot of people. And
Boy,
some
isn't
days,
it?
and some days, the most interesting part of them is like, oh, Jen, I saw these houses. Let's go take a look at it. So some days they would send me 1 or 2. Some days they would send me 10, 15.
Oh, no.
And I'll
Wow.
be like, yeah, especially right now, the market is very, very, very buyer focused. Basically, there's so many houses on the market. Buyer has so much options. So what I do is called the traffic light system. Once they send me 15 homes, I would look at the list. I go to work and look at, okay, let's see. I'd look at each and every one of them before showing, and I would go grade them into red, yellow, and green. So red is usually when I see, hey, you told me that you absolutely do not want a house in a flood zone. However, these 3 are in a flood zone. Do you want to reconsider? Because that might push you out of your debt to income ratio. And yellow can be anything that I think, hey, it may bother you, or it may not. Let me just let you know.
Mm-hmm.
For example, there's a train track right nearby. Then, well, it might not bother. It would bother me, but
Me
it might
too.
not bother you. Right? Exactly. So
Or like an airport.
Right. Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly. As the fiduciary, I feel like that is my job to let you know. Hey, did you know? And then I will highlight them in yellow. And finally, green are things that looks good on paper, doesn't push you out of your DTI, and, in terms of the HOA fee, CDD, and such. Let's go take a look. So I would
That's
dwindle that, list of 10 down to maybe 3. Because, if I take you go on tour for 10 houses, at the end of it, you're just like, oh, what? Which one is it that I really like? You wouldn't even remember.
That, and I feel like it's a waste of time for not only yourself, but you. So, like yourself as the buyer, but also you as the
clients,
realtor.
For sure. Absolutely.
And I mean, that's kind of something that we did with ours. We had been doing research for maybe 6 months, and we seen like a list of homes, and we kind of did what I wish I had you to do it for me, because I did what you did.
Wow.
So I went through, maybe not like to the technicalities of the debt to income ratio parts, but in terms of between Lewis and I, we went and made a list, and we were like, you know what? These are the 3 homes that we like everything about. We just need to see them. So when we finally did reach out to our realtor, we knew going in that they would all fit in a good way. It's just, how do I feel walking into the house?
Right.
And it was funny because the very first one we looked at, we hated. Like we thought we liked it on paper, but we walked in and I was like, I can't live here. I cannot live here. The backyard was just, I have a 2-year-old, so it was just super unsafe.
Oh, wow.
And from pictures, like, yeah, you could have fenced it in, but it was so close to water. And I didn't like that. As a mom, that's like my biggest fear. This house has a fence. I was like, sold. And then it is also something we can grow into. So I think a lot of people don't realize or don't think about what they might want in the moment or in the future. Like, how's this house going to serve you in both of those times?
So I love that. Generally, when I work with buyers, I don't just take them out on, like, hey, yeah, let's go look at houses. The first thing I do is always, I spend at least an hour's time to go through a buyer consultation, especially if their very first home. or they've moved from out of state. They may not have ever purchased a property in the state of Florida. So I go through what the process looks like, and I do a full consultation of understanding what is the must-haves for you. I ask them to list out all the things you want, and then they'll be like, oh yeah, I want a front porch, I want a fenced-in backyard.
Some things are crazy, right?
Well, no, normally I would say most people are actually rather reasonable. I haven't met anybody that's
have you seen anything that's like crazy or like why would you ever want that?
I wouldn't say nothing too crazy, but a lot of times they want like front porch, and I'll be like, it's not something that can like, like I can't toggle a button that I can just like find out for you. I have to like
front porches only.
Yeah, I can only like look through the photos one at a time.
Yeah.
But
which is time consuming. Sorry to cut you off, but
no, you're good.
But yeah. Oh, were you still going on about the list or?
So yes, after going through the process, I want to make sure that I understand what they want and like, and I tell them. So they would list out. Some people would list out a whole bunch of things, and some people would be like 3 things.
Yeah.
And then I would ask them, okay, so if out of all of these 10 things, what's your top 3? And that's like the very difficult decision. They're like, oh gosh, I really don't want a flood zone, but then I want like at least 4 bedrooms. So I tell them
3 is hard. 3 is hard.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's important. It's important.
So that allows me to understand what's the most important to my client,
like where their priorities lie.
Exactly. So that way, they wouldn't be distracted by, oh, I don't like the color of the wall. I'm like, well, sure, you don't like that. However,
but you can paint it.
Yeah, there are other 5 different things that check your boxes. That's on your higher priorities. Are you sure you don't like this one just because of the color? So I can refocus them to look at the things that are important.
Our top 3 was a fenced-in backyard, the size obviously was important because we want to grow our family, and then a big kitchen. Like those were I could really settle for anything else, but that was like, that's where we spend the most time. Oh, and I guess like a nice master room. I mean, we spend time there too. Yeah. But those are like my non-negotiables, I guess is what you would call them.
Exactly.
But yeah, so it definitely helped looking for a house. It made it a lot easier because you can definitely see things and you're like, oh my God, I would love to live here, but is it feasible or does it make sense? But yeah, so yeah, awesome. Something I did want to ask you is you are very poised and calm and knowledgeable in this aspect. Why are you laughing?
It's all a facade, People always say, like, when they first met me, they always say, oh, wow, I thought you're like a very quiet person. And I'm just like, quiet? No, you just haven't heard me telling jokes.
Well, yeah, I mean, I get that aspect. I'm always thought to be, oh my God, I thought you were such a bitch.
Oh my gosh.
All the time.
At the end,
but
they
realize
you really are.
It's my art. Yeah, I know, right? No, it's my RBF, honestly. It's just my face. And
we all have that.
And I think, but well, how do I put it? It's like a defense mechanism for me. If I look mean, like you're not going to talk to me.
No, same thing. Because I was born and raised in the capital city of Taiwan, which is Taipei. So I'm like, if I'm walking on the streets, I don't want people to talk to me. They'll be like selling you random stuff or like, I don't doing political polls or whatever. Yeah.
But yeah, so kind of.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're okay. That's the whole purpose, right? Just be yourself, be real, natural. But what I wanted to ask is, I feel like so many people fake this calm facade on socials. How do you, or what kind of advice would you give to somebody to try and differentiate that when looking for like a realtor or someone in your profession? Because you can go on to someone's highlight reels, but that's what it is, a highlight reel of just the highs. Do you find being like more authentic in your socials has helped you? And like, what made you make that decision? I know, loaded question. Sorry.
So I'm not sure. Do you want me to talk more about, how do people pick out the realtor, or how do I build my social media?
Yeah. So for me, I guess I'll talk on me. So for me, obviously my business brand is my personal brand. So I got a lot of like kickback from people saying, do you feel like you're being too much yourself? Like, or you're being too much, or you Like people might not want to do business with somebody who is, because I'm very open about my political views, about my views on anything. I don't keep them separate because at the end of the day, you're working with me as a person and me as a business.
Right.
But sometimes when I'm looking for, and we'll just use real estate agents for, because that's what you are.
Right.
When you're looking for those, if I go to someone's profile and all I see is just housing lists or however you say that, house listings.
Listings. Yeah, it's okay.
Listings. Obviously, I'm not a real estate agent.
You're good.
Don't buy a house from me. Listings. And you see no personality, nothing personal. That turns me off.
Oh yeah.
But some realtors are like, well, I don't want them in my personal life, or I don't want. Do you know what I mean? So what? Yeah. And I know you do some personal stuff. Yes. So why did you decide to do it or go that route?
That is a great question. I remember when I first started out doing social media, I was probably just like everybody else. It's like, oh yeah, here's a cute house.
Just doing it for fun.
Look at it, Yeah. So it was very basic, but then I do realize whenever I add in my personal touches, people enjoy that more.
Yeah.
Because exactly how you're saying it. If I'm only posting things that are serious, once again, people don't move until it's like, every 7 or 10 years.
Yeah.
So during that time, you still want to keep in touch with them. But if I only post listings, houses, here's things to know about real estate market, then most people will probably be really turned off. I'm not going to be having people that follows me. But instead, if I post things that's like personable or hey, here are the best restaurants in the area that I love, those are more personable. They will interact with me, so that way.
This is about to be so loud.
I know.
But I'm thirsty.
Go ahead. You got this, girl.
Okay, keep going.
Now I lost my train of thought. Let me think.
Personal touches.
Yeah, on social media. And on the very other end. Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. That's protein?
Yeah, we'll talk about it in a minute. I'm sorry.
On the very other end of the spectrum, I've also seen realtors that does videos that are like funny, but they may add a lot of profanity and vulgar words, which all respect to that. That is their brand. That is not my brand. I wouldn't personally want to work with somebody that's like cussing all over the place on their videos, or saying really silly things.
It's just at that point it's unprofessional, I would think.
Yeah. So I think that's my happy medium is. I show you that I can be a professional, but I also show you that I enjoy being a funny person. I enjoy being humorous.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I'm trying to build my brand right now.
Okay. That makes more sense. I think, too, what's really good for you is you do have those tips about, because we do live in Florida, which if you're coming from a state where they don't have hurricanes or those kinds of things.
Oh, yeah.
That can be very helpful to be like, oh, she is knowledgeable about the area of where she's living or selling. So I definitely, but I was curious to get your take on that. But with my little interruption, we'll kind of digress a little. I just got these. So Bucked Up is like it's a pre-workout brand.
Okay.
But I'm really struggling to hit my protein goals. And I guess this is a really good segue into the wellness sector. Okay. But so I found these, and it's carbonated protein, which sounds like crazy and scary. Okay. I made the same face that you're making right now.
But is it like a soda?
It tastes literally just like an energy drink. I mean, it has like a slight different... I mean, it's different than an energy drink. Okay. Those are definitely sweeter. Right. There's probably like a less sweet version.
Good.
But it has no caffeine. It uses whey isolate as the protein. But it's kind of crazy. Like it's 25 grams of protein, 100 calories, no added sugar, no fat, no carb. But yeah, I don't know. I was shocked by it when I tasted. So I tasted my first one yesterday, which was banana pineapple. It tastes like pina colada. This one much better than that one, but I'm not. This is like a creamy orange, which maybe it's because it goes with the protein a little bit better. But yeah, I was shocked. And I drink a lot of energy drinks in a day. So if I can replace, but I think like I like the carbonation. I don't like soda though, which is weird. But I like the carbonation of an energy drink and obviously the caffeine. But at some point you have to cut back. But also I was struggling to hit protein. But if I can drink like an energy drink and get 25 grams of protein, girl, I'm going to do it.
Why not, right?
So I was like, let me try these. I've been seeing them all over my socials. And I've been seeing like the protein water too, but that really freaks me out. So I'm like, okay.
Just
I was like,
water.
let me try this one. And I tried my first one yesterday. And I did feel better. I felt more energized, not because of caffeine, obviously, but because I'm hitting my protein goals, which is really, really important. It's why I'm kind of stagnant in my process right now, like my progress in the gym. I know that, but it's like, I am not a milky protein girl. Like I do not like I used to be able to force it, but now I'm like, no.
I do want to ask you, why is health and wellness so important to you? And, a lot of your videos are talking about your fitness, your experiences in that field. Why is this so important to you?
It is so important to me because I see it destroy people's lives all the time. And it's something with so many things being out of our control, that is in your control. And it's crazy to me. And it sounds conceited or judgmental, but when I see bigger people walking around, I'm like, are you okay? Like, how do you not feel that in your body? Or how does someone not tell you? That's what hurts me. But it's really important to me because it's in my control. And movement is medicine. Like, I want to live a long, healthy, fruitful life. Like, I have a 2-year-old. I want to have more kids. I want to be able-bodied. I don't want to be one of those parents that are like, oh, I can't do that with you because I'm in pain. Or, no, we can't because, like, I just can't. I don't ever want to be like that.
I felt like that might be a good reason why we're similar in certain ways.
Yeah.
Where I completely agree that what you put in your body, how you move your body is completely within your control. I felt like a lot of times, sure, most people that works 9 to 5s, it can get very difficult for them to choose to move. But on the outside of the 9 to 5, we do have the option to choose, and how you put in your body, how the food makes you feel should be very important.
Well, and also for me, the way that somebody treats themselves in terms of health, wellness, fitness is a direct correlation of how I feel like they would treat me. And that might not be true,
right?
But it's how I feel. Because if you are so willing to disrespect yourself and like you're yourself, right? That should be the most important person regardless. But then how are you going to treat me?
Right.
And I mean, there's a reason why sitting is the new smoking. And that sentence alone should tell you like, wow, maybe there's some importance to this movement thing. As you know, I just finished my master's degree in nutrition and sports science. And my final paper, so you got to choose what it was about. So my final paper, I chose to write about movement being medicine, but implementing like a full-time physical fitness and nutrition plan in long-term care facilities. And the reason I chose that is a main reason that a lot of these people are having issues. Their diet is key. Give them more of the right nutrients and vitamins they need, and they're going to have less bone and muscle issues. Then they're going to be on less of those medications, which are causing other issues, which that could be a whole thing. But I chose to talk about that because I feel like it's touched on, but it's so simple. Like implementing it worldwide, yeah, that would be very difficult. But I feel like it starts with one person. And so I guess that's a long-winded way of saying like that's why it's super important to me. Like I really don't want to be one of those people who's like, oh my God, I can't move. Like I'm in pain.
And we could probably do another episode just talking about relationships as well.
Yeah.
Because I love how you say if they don't treat themselves well, how do you know they're going to treat you
100%.
with respect either? I love that because, and a lot of the times, I have friends that are single and I would tell them you have to first love yourself. That's very plain and simple. If you don't have that confidence, nobody's going to be attracted to you. So I love that. Right. If you are not treating yourself, your body well, how do I know that you will treat others well?
Exactly. 100%. But yeah, on to that. Well, we can kind of segue right into your wellness journey that you're on.
Okay.
I know, I know you have told me before, like you were getting into line dancing. Is it
It's called shuffle.
Shuffle.
So I do different styles of dances.
Okay, dancing. We'll call it that.
Yeah.
But like just, and then you were in the gym this morning. But was that a relationship that you reconnected with? And how is that wellness journey for you going? And like, how has it kind of changed your relationship with yourself? We'll say.
I love that question. So when the reason why I wouldn't say I'm going back to the gym. I've been like working out. I would say as little as once a week to as much as 3 times a week for the past, I think, 3 years now. Yeah, which when I first started out, the reason being I moved from Taiwan to the state of Delaware, which is a very flat state, and Taiwan is a very mountainous country. So in Taiwan, I could go hiking
Here you cannot.
So yeah, so is Florida. There is no mountain. Like hiking in Florida is walking on flat land. I was like, this is not really hiking.
A speed bump, maybe. You know?
maximum of 3 feet.
Oh, no.
So yeah, I started working out because it was 3 years ago. I went to Hawaii with my husband. We were just, traveling, and we went on a hike. And I was
I love hiking.
Shape. I was so out of shape at that point. And,
Humbling, right?
Oh yeah. And then I moved to the US about 7 years ago. So before that, I can easily go hiking. I'm not as out of breath as I was. So at that point, I was like, something has to be changed. I wasn't working out at the time. I wasn't paying as much attention to what I'm eating at the time.
Yeah.
So that's why when I came back from the mainland US, I was like, something needs to be changed. So that's when I started going into workout.
I want to touch on that hiking part real quick. So we just took a family vacation to Corova Beach, North Carolina. You know where that is?
No. No, but I saw your videos.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Corova Beach, North Carolina, and they have like wild horses on the beach. It's beautiful. You can only get to like the houses in a 4x4 vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. But you had to walk everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And Lewis and I went for a walk on the beach. And oh my God, I was like, this is so humbling. I'm just walking. But I mean, a beach walk is a little obviously different than flat. And I like to tell people I'm in shape, but I'm in lifting shape. I'm not in running shape.
Same.
Because, I wish I was. I really do. But if you see me running, you should probably run too.
Something's happening.
Something is happening. Like I only run when I have to, which is my PT test twice a year. And that's it. But
really? You don't need to prep for your PT, really?
Well,
that's crazy.
I should, and my time would be a lot better. I actually just went for my first run back yesterday.
Okay.
That was embarrassing. Very embarrassing. We're not going to talk about it, but it was humbling to say the least. But yeah, I think if it's just as important to move your body as it is to pay attention to what you put into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that other lifestyles are so glamorized, like going out every weekend or partying or all of these things I did in college that I'm like, wow. And I actually talked about it the other day. I wish that, because Tampa's amazing, but I wish I experienced Tampa, not just the clubs and the going out scenes when I was in college. Like I wish I knew what I do now then and experienced it, because that lifestyle is so glamorized. But if you're like, oh my God, I would rather go for a walk on a trail, because you can't really hike, but a trail, or I want to go do this, people are like, yeah, but I would rather go out tonight or whatever. So I think that, and that'll kind of lead into this. Why do you, like, what do you think is glamorized in what you do that shouldn't be? And I guess like what do people glamorize about real estate that isn't so glamorous?
That's a very loaded question.
I'm full of them today. I'm sorry.
I've heard when I first started out in real estate, I go to classes, and a lot of times the instructor would ask people, why did you get into real estate? And sometimes people would say things like, oh, I watch HGTV all the time.
No.
I just really like looking at houses. And I was like, oh. At the time, I was like, oh, yeah, cool. Yeah,
she's like,
why
that's
not?
a good reason, I think.
Yeah, I was like, why not? You like looking at pretty houses. That's a great reason to get into real estate. And then when I actually get into it, I was like, That is totally not HGTV.
Oh my god.
You know how many times I'm hosting open houses and I have to be like, all right, I have to like, roll up my sleeves and get like
Get dirty.
dustpans out from my car and just be like, all right, the front door needs some cleaning, the countertops need some wiping down. I would be like doing those things because I need to make it presentable.
You didn't know you were also a residential cleaner, did you?
Right. Yeah, no, I wish. I'm terrible at cleaning, but I just, I can do the basic stuff. But yeah, aside from that, I think a lot of people go into real estate when they first bought their first or second house, they felt like, oh gosh, I can do this. This is easy. Right. It's all depends on the perspectives.
I'm making that face because at one point, because it seems like the easy thing to do, right? Oh, I'm going to go get my real estate license.
Right.
And so I made that face because Lewis and I watched a lot of Property Brothers, or which I love them, but yeah, or like quick flips and things like that. But we had to be real with ourselves. We can't do that. Like that's just not in our wheelhouse. It's not something that we maybe down the line eventually, but those people have certain things set up, certain criteria, certain skill sets that we don't. My husband is not a man's man. Okay, he cannot be building and flipping houses. I don't know. He might think he's Bob the Builder, but he certainly is not. And I think that we really had to have that real talk with ourselves. Like, yeah, it sounds cool. You could make good money when you get good at it and you build your clientele.
Right.
And you're in the game. But you can't just wake up. And I think that's what people think. They think they're going to get their real estate license. They're going to go sell a couple of houses and then it's going to be like that.
So I think it depends on what they want. If they just really feel like, oh, I just want to sell maybe 1 or 2 houses a year, or maybe even less. I doesn't really matter to me. Then that's perfectly fine. Then you do that, and it's kind of just like a side hustle to help out with paying bills. But if you want to go full time into it, then there's actually a lot of different costs that you have to. I have to put into every single month in order to keep the business afloat. So it's not as simple as people thought. Oh, I just write a contract. They accept it. We close in 15 days. Hooray. Everybody gets paid.
That sounds great. But
no, I wish.
Me too. I remember buying the house. It was not like that.
Yeah. As you said, 85% of the realtors don't last the first 3 years. Yeah. And there's a reason to it. We have to pay the realtor dues. We have to pay the MLS fees, the multiple listing system fees. We have to pay office fees, brokerage fees, super boxes, the lock boxes that are electronic. If I don't pay for that, I can't open the electronic ones.
Wow.
So there are all sorts of different fees, and maybe I need business cards. I need yard signs to show that, hey, it's either open house or the house is for sale. Yeah. There are a lot of different things
you don't
that
think
build
about.
up. Yeah, exactly. Things that build up. So it's definitely not as glamorized as HGTV.
It's funny because that's kind of what I was going to move into next. I think people see what's the best way to put it? We'll just say entrepreneurship isn't cute. It's chaotic. It's cutthroat. And I think people don't, how many times do you hear, oh, I'm going to start a business and I'm going to do this. And yeah, your idea might sound cute and great, but do you have the grit and like, do you want it? Because let me tell you, I'm going through that right now and I want it, but it's hard. I'm doing something that nobody is doing or very few people, especially when it comes to like the shift I just made in the business. And so I'm in that phase where it's like, this sucks. And I think people glamorize that too. Like, yeah, own your own business, financial freedom, work your own hours, do what you want.
Yeah, so you can trade 9 to 5 to 24/7.
Yeah, okay, you get it. Those first, like, I think 3 years suck. And that's probably where that 3-year number comes from. So once you can get through the bullshit and through the suck, we'll call it, then yeah, it could be great. But I'm right at year 2 and I'm like, this sucks. I'm in the trenches, man. Like,
yeah, which is why I really admire you.
Like,
every time I see you're so consistent with Quirks and Connections, which is a women's networking group. If any women, female business owners are in Tampa, please join us. She's amazing. Yeah, Quirks and Connections is so consistent.
Thank you.
And what's the other one? Candle
the Sense and Sips that we do monthly.
Yeah, you're very consistent with it, which I felt like a lot of times, of course, all I can see is the videos that you put out, but I'm sure there are other times that it really suck and you feel like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't want to get up. Oh, I really don't want to do this. But
Yesterday we had a
continuously to
class
show up.
and it was one of those days. It was like I've had classes that have had 20 people. I've had class which was really big. I've had classes that average class about 10 to 12 people. Yesterday's class had 8, only 6 showed up. So it was kind of heartbreaking, I would say. It's like, oh my gosh. But then I really was like, all right, they can't all be winners. But also it was a holiday weekend. And so I could be lying to myself, but that's what I'm going to tell myself to make myself feel better.
Yeah, because same thing. I try to do one open house every single weekend. And that is, my weekend time that I have to spend probably 4 hours, including setup and sitting in the house. That sometimes, a lot of times, in this market, I get nobody coming into the open house. So it can be really, really frustrating. But I guess I shift my mindset into I use that time to organize my week. Oh, no. Oh, okay. You want to pause? Yeah, let's pause.
Yeah, I think we were just talking about having to put in the work.
Yes.
And so I'll just kind of go right back into it. Hustle culture. Like, speaking of glamorizing things, why? Like, hustle culture is, I feel like way too much emphasis is placed on it. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's really great for the economy. It's really great for all of these other things, which might be true, but it's also terrible for a lot of other things. Well-being, mental health. And so that's where my focus has shifted, because you do need to allow yourself those breaks, that rest. And so I guess I'll ask you, how do you take a break from like your hustle culture?
Yeah, that's a great question, because in real estate, there's a lot of people that's constantly like, I've been recruited by, they call themselves top team leaders or whatever in Tampa Bay area. And they will be like, every morning we got to do a sales huddle that we get together. And now like afterwards, you now all go make 300 phone calls, So yeah, a lot of times you got the calls. It's from one of them. But that is not healthy.
That sounds awful.
Yeah, I don't think that is very healthy. So when I started out in real estate, I was just like, oh yeah, I want to make a career out of it. But I was listening. I am almost like I forgot the term. It's like you really enjoy learning. I love to learn all aspects about real estate. And I was listening to this one podcast, and the podcast, they were interviewing different top realtors. And this one particular realtor, I can't remember her name or her area, but
you remember what she said.
What she said to me really struck a chord. She said that every single year she set herself a goal. For example, if she said, I want to sell 60 real estate this year, and after that is done, I will take the rest of the year off. And I think that is very impressive, especially in this business. Sometimes some people will contact you kind of last minute, like, hey, my lease is up in 2 months' time. I need to find a house.
Sounds like a you problem.
Yeah, that can be very stressful. But she has set up a system so good that after she hit that goal, I think it was 2023 when she hit 60 in the month of at the end of September, and then she take the rest of the year off.
That's awesome that she's able to do that.
And I think and every time I have networking meetings with people, I ask them about their goals, but I always say mine is we work so we can live a better life, not the other way around. We're not alive so we can continuously working. That's not what I want to do. So that's where I want to be. Yes, sure, I'm not there yet. So I need to work a lot harder. But at the same time, I do know if I have to work on Sunday for an open house, then maybe I will take Monday easy, vice versa.
Well, and that's something like I did a guided run, I told you. So yay. But something that he said in my runs that stuck with me that sounds very similar to that is you don't drink water for mile 2, you drink it for mile 9.
Oh, wow.
And so if you're working hard early, so you can take a break later, or so you can have an easier life later down the line. And I feel like those kind of go together. But Lewis and I were just talking about this. We feel like kind of guilty because we're living like a pretty good life. Like he's a teacher, so he's off for the summer. So we've always been in survival mode. So for once, we don't have to be. And it's almost like you feel guilty for enjoying that.
Mm.
So it's like we're both looking for something to do. And he's like, why? We worked so hard to get to this rest area.
Right.
It's like that she made it to 60, take the break,
Mm-hmm.
but we don't take the break.
Mm-hmm.
And why? It's because I think people more so glamorize that, oh, look how much they're doing, not, oh, look, she can take a break.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we need to have that mindset shift.
Mm-hmm.
So
for sure, I've heard lots of different realtors that would that would like be so proud of them. Oh, I hosted 52 open houses,
all about
every
numbers.
single every single Sunday last year. I did not miss a single Sunday, which I felt like okay, good for you, but at the same time it's a little bit sad.
Yeah,
sure,
like,
if you're single, no family, no children, sure. But
mm-hmm.
a lot of times that's the weekends are the time that your family are available. So
right.
I don't work every single weekend. I do work a lot of the weekends, but I don't work every single one of them because my husband might divorce me if I do.
But it's great that you said it that way because
Yeah.
the thing is, if you work 52 Sundays in a year, what I heard, which I think this is where that shift needs to happen. Other people hear, oh my God, that's so awesome. You're working so hard. Like, good for you. Kudos to you. What you and I heard was, you didn't spend a single Sunday with your family or doing something for you.
Right. Or for yourself.
Yeah.
For yourself, for your mental health, for your wellness.
A reset.
Really.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah, I'm glad we have that same thought. Those were good points. I like them. So something else I wanted to say or talk about is your zone of expertise. You mentioned that realtors and real estate agents have their own specialties, we'll call them. Like, what is yours specifically?
I wouldn't say primarily. Some realtors I know focus only on sellers. Some focus only on buyers, which are a little bit fewer. But I would say my particular specialty is I love to take data and translate it into what normal people can understand. I still remember.
It's what we appreciate about you.
I know. Thank you. I don't know. I enjoy putting something complex but make it into something that's easier for people to understand.
So simplifying the complex.
Yeah, I love presentation. If you tell me, hey Jin, can you do a presentation on something, in this coming week, I'll be like,
please.
I would be a little bit nervous, but yeah, I'm like, absolutely. I love telling people. I love organizing information and just present it to people. So I remember it was probably my very second deal I've ever done. I got a phone call in my office. They were like, hey, my mom just passed and the property is in down Sun City Center. A lot of retirees are down there. He's like, my mom just passed. I'm interviewing a few realtors to sell her house. Can you come out? I was like, oh, absolutely. So I got there. I learned that I was one of the 3 or 4 that he was interviewing.
Oh,
and eventually he just decided to work with me. And at the time, as I said, it was my very second deal. So I'm not super experienced or anything.
Yeah.
But he decided to go with me because I know a lot of different realtors. I didn't exactly see my competition, but I know other realtors that would go in and just like have one information and be like, oh, that's the best comp you can have. This is where you need to sell it at. But the way I did it was if I can mail it out, I would mail out the listing package, but I couldn't at the time. So I email out my listing package, the contract, this Florida State Standard contract, and a few other information on me. And then I show up with all that information and a CMA. It's called Comparative Market Analysis. And I sat with him to go through the CMA and tell him, hey, these are the currently active in the neighborhood. These are currently pending, and these are currently sold in the past 180 days.
Wow.
And I go through that information and let him know, I think these are the most comparable ones to your particular property. And he was also a very detail-oriented person. He was like, oh, I've never had anybody that goes through this process with me. Normally,
it makes a difference.
Yeah, normally a lot of the realtors probably just look at 1 or 2 and just be like, this is what you should be at. And I go through that information and he really appreciated.
That's awesome.
So yeah, he called me back and say, hey, I really think there are some other people that are willing to do it cheaper than you, but I think you're the best. So that's why I got the call back.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I got the job. So
Oh, yay. I'm so happy for you. No, but when you do something that works and you find something that works and people respond to that, obviously it's doing something for them on an emotional level. We are human beings.
Yeah.
We connect emotionally.
Yeah.
That's, one of the biggest reasons that I work in sense psychology. It's all about emotionally connecting. It's the only one of your senses that bypass the logic center of your brain. So you have 5 senses. Smell is the only one that makes an immediate emotional connection.
Oh, wow.
And that is just so cool to me. I mean, I don't know if it's cool to you, but to me, because think about it. You smell something, you might not know what it is right then, but you're placed somewhere. That's why like nostalgia through smell is so important. But we're finding that scientists are finding that they're using that in other things too, like even dementia patients, like they smell their daughter or son or whatever, like they smell their smell and they can identify who it is before their memories, because smell is so strong. It goes right to your emotional control center, your survival center, like. And so that emotional connection is really a root of who we are as human beings. So when you're doing that and making that emotional connection through your own work, through those personal touches, I think that is what a lot of people are missing in their own businesses.
Right. So. Well, and well, not exactly unrelated, but like on the reverse psychology part, I remember I was probably in high school, studying very hard for one of the exams that's coming up. And then I was eating Cheetos at the time.
Yeah, they say if you eat or like chew the same flavor gum, you can recall information better.
Yeah, and then when I was doing the test, I was doing the exam, I was like reading familiar questions, and I was just like, Cheeto smell just like filled my
That's
brain.
Funny. I've always heard like chew the same flavor of gum as when you study, and then when you take the test.
You recall the information better.
But I've never tried it, and I probably should have, honestly, but it's interesting to hear that you actually like experience that. So that's cool. So I guess there is some truth to it. But I mean, it makes sense because you can't taste without smell. So, I mean, if you think about it that way.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, that's cool. She said, I know every time I eat Cheetos, I feel smarter. That's what I heard.
I just remember this awful exam experience.
What class?
I can't remember. Probably science. I might have to, eat another Cheeto to remember it.
No. That's funny. So kind of, I guess, going high school, staying on that side, you did debate.
Yes.
I love debate. I also did high school debate.
No way! Oh my gosh! I was like, that's crazy.
So I love it. It's like one of my favorite things that I got into in school. And I actually feel like for me, and so I'm going to ask you the same thing. So for me, what I feel like I gained from it, because people always ask, well, what was the point? Are you just going to argue better? No. Sometimes I lost badly.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But I think it teaches you to take the wins in stride, but also to prove your point with fact. Exactly. But what it taught me the most was how to use my voice as power. Because especially as women, I feel like we are kind of powerless in a way because we don't speak up for ourselves. I experienced that in a huge way when I was delivering my son. I wanted very natural, no epidural, no pain meds, nothing.
Oh gosh, you're a trooper.
But it was important to me because of the wellness side of things. If you don't have an epidural, you can recover a lot faster. I was very into the gym at this point. I mean, I still am, but I was in it. Like I worked out until I think 3 days before my delivery.
Oh wow.
Which is fine. People are like always scared to work out, but if you're doing it before you get pregnant, you can very much continue. It's the people who have never worked out a day in their life, they get pregnant and they're like, oh my God, let's go hard, and then they get hurt. You can't introduce something brand new like that. But I digress. Anyways, the nurse kept coming in and she was like, so do you want something to take the edge off? Do you want this? Do you want this? And every time she was trying to offer me a narcotic or a pain med or ibuprofen, whatever, I made it very clear I don't want it. And she was trying to help, I think. I don't know. Or doing her job. We'll put it that way. She was doing her job. But I think so often pregnant women come in and they just do with whatever option they're presented. Like I think a lot of people don't realize and this happened to me more than just the medications. After I delivered, they told me I couldn't take a shower because I had like an IV right here for like just in case.
Oh.
And I was like, what is the reason? Because I would understand if I had an epidural because I'd be unsteady on my feet, but I have no medications in my system.
Right.
I like to be clean. I'm going to take a shower. And so I did. I literally got in the shower and the nurse came by to do my vitals and she was like, oh my God, why is she in the shower? And Lewis was like, yeah, good luck with that. Like to them because I'm in a shower. Sorry.
Yeah.
I experienced it when they wanted to take my son out of the room to go do some vitals. No, you can do them right here. Or you can't eat. A lot of women are told they can't eat before they go deliver. Yes, you can.
Wow.
You can.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. Eat. I had Chick-fil-A before I went. I had Chick-fil-A before I went in and delivered and signed myself into the hospital to deliver my son because I will be damned if I'm going to be hormonal and hungry. No, thank you.
For I don't know how long was the delivery?
Well, mine was only 7 hours, but still, it's a lot of exercise.
Oh yeah.
My delivery wasn't 7 hours. Sorry, birth to start to finish was 7 hours. My active like pushing him 8 minutes. So short. But the thing about the eating is if you don't eat something, food gives you energy. You need energy to do that. That's why a lot of people feel like shit during. I felt great. I was eating honey sticks. After I delivered, I was packing my stuff to go from the delivery floor to the mommy and me floor. But I learned a lot of that in debate to tie it all back in. I learned to speak up for myself because I'm the only one who's going to do it. And so that was my biggest takeaway was speak up for yourself, use your voice as a power and not like don't hide behind it. So I'm curious to know if you feel similar or if there's something else you took away from it.
I would say from debate, it's crazy. I guess when I was in high school, I didn't even realize. So I'm a very anti-confrontational person. I hate confrontation.
That's where we're different.
Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, I'm like, I don't. Unless, well, I can negotiate all day for my client.
I like the smoke, okay?
Because I feel like I can negotiate for my clients because, I am working on somebody else's behalf. But for myself, I normally wouldn't even send a plate back to the kitchen. I was just like, no, it's okay. I'll do this. I'll do this all day. But what I got from debate was more so how to organize information.
Oh, okay.
In a logical sense. That people can follow you, and then how because debate a lot of times is cross examination, or you have to listen to other people and then give responses. I feel like a lot of times when you ever had a conversation with somebody and you're just like, I don't think that's my question, and I don't think they understand what I'm talking about, or I don't think they're answering what I'm saying.
I categorize a lot of the times when I'm conversing with somebody in my head. Even like a few times I've done it here. Like I'm like, okay, I can respond to that this way, or I can do it this way. So I guess I took that away too. Is that compartmentalizing information, and I think that sometimes you really have to know who you're speaking to and what you're speaking about, because sometimes people do just talk out of their ass, right? Like they just you're like, what? Excuse me. Sometimes people just say whatever they feel like sounds right, or they've heard it somewhere else. But I feel like what debate taught me was back everything up with facts, and then nobody can question you.
Exactly.
Because and that's where facts and feelings come in. Like, okay, you might feel some type of way about something, but it's not true. Like I can feel upset about, like Lewis, my husband, could do something to piss me off all the time. And I could feel a certain way about it. I could feel like he doesn't love me, but that's not true. Like he loves me. And I know that's like a drastic example, but that's how silly some people sound to me. So.
And when I got into real estate, it was one of the things that a lot of my mentors were telling me. Yeah. When you talk to people and you tell them, this is my suggestion, they may not take it very well. They felt like, oh, who are you to tell me this and that? However, if you show them, this is what the market is telling me, then they can't argue with the market. These are numbers that I'm only interpreting the numbers and letting you know this is what the numbers mean, and not that this is what I think how much your house is supposed to be.
Yeah, you really debate really teaches you to take out I statements,
right? Exactly.
And opinions, and it is about how you frame it, because you could have a great argument, but if you can't convey that into a way that doesn't seem biased, then they're not going to buy it.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Yeah.
When I was reading, I was like, oh my God, she did debate.
No
that's
way.
so awesome. Which
Yeah.
I could see it now. But
and imagine, so again, English is my first, is my second language. My first language is not English. So when I was in debate team, it was English debate team.
okay.
So I have to debate in a language, and at 16, 17, it was very hard for me. And
what age did you learn English?
I think I started out kind of like 5-year-old, 7-year-old, when you're kind of just
so not like super
dancing
late
to like
but...
A, B, C, D and stuff, like the cute stuff, or just like, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. And you?
Well, at least you learned it like not middle school or like higher age. You learned
that's
it
true. That's
younger,
true.
which is
I was fortunate.
beneficial for sure.
I was fortunate to be able to learn English
That's
a lot
awesome.
earlier. But when people ask me, "Oh yeah, how'd you learn your English, or did your English improve when you come to the U.S.?" I'm like, no. The only people I was speaking with,
honestly.
the only people I was speaking with most of the time was my husband, and he, of course, is not going to be like very professional, like CNN type of. BBC type of like communication, and no, he was just like very casual. I actually learned a lot of like
slang.
Yeah, exactly. Useless information that I can't use in professional settings.
Yeah,
but my English definitely built up a lot when I was in the debate team.
That's awesome. That's a helpful skill too.
Yeah.
It's funny that you're like, I learned my English that way. Lewis had to reteach himself Spanish, and because growing up I guess his mom didn't really speak it enough around him. So he had to learn it as an adult, actually.
Wow.
Which kudos to him, because I've tried and couldn't be me. But I guess it's second nature, like you've heard it before.
Right, exactly. So
but he used to put on he used to put on like telenovelas, or I think I'm saying that right.
Okay.
And so the TV was just in Spanish all the time. And so he's watching, because you know him, he's dramatic. So he's watching these Spanish soap operas, and they're in Spanish, and with the subtitles, so he could learn it. Because you're exactly right. If you're not speaking it with somebody who's going to speak it the way you need to learn it, then what are you learning?
Debate, it was a lot more. It's not super casual.
Yeah.
You have to be somewhat more formal. It's almost like a corporate meeting, things like that. So,
but your English is great. So
yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Hair flip, It's like, don't mind me. So we're almost done, kind of. But so your mantra right now, you said, is nobody is coming to save you, so you have to save yourself. I'm really curious, like, how long you've kind of been living by that, and like what kind of sparked that, or where did it come from? Because
I think so. When you were asking that question, I was like going through. I actually have like a quote, on my notepad. I was just like, a quote that I should remind myself of things.
Yeah,
but that one is actually not on my on my quote notebook or anything. I got that. I probably just got that off of social media. But the reason why I got that, the reason why I just remember that so right off the bat was, I think in this business, especially entrepreneurship, it's a lot of like self-motivation. You have to remind yourself of things, and even if you're not an entrepreneur, you have to. We were talking about health and wellness. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody's going to move your body for you. Nobody's going to cook you delicious food for you. Right.
I wish.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe one day you'll have a personal chef. But
hopes and dreams, really.
Yeah, exactly. But even if
my chef is my husband, but
yeah. Oh no, that's good. But even if you do have a personal chef, you have to tell them, hey,
what you want.
I want how much proteins in my food. I want mostly fibers in my food, such and such. So I think nobody is coming to save you. You have to realize these are the things I want to do, and I need to save myself. So that's why.
Yeah, when I read that, like the first thing I thought of is we so easily, and the first thing most people think to do is to outsource your power. And what I mean by that is you're always asking someone else to do it for you. But if you're really doing it yourself and you really own that, you own your voice, you own your power, you live in it's going to be so much better for you down the line.
Or I felt like a lot of people, I am never one to enjoy complaining.
Yeah.
I don't. I think
we're all guilty of it,
yeah.
but
yeah, of course, I have complaints, but I try to always stay in a more positive mindset. And I felt like that quote does put everything in my hands.
And for me, like I used to be, not now, but like when I was younger, and you know, I went through some shit, so I'm allowed to have a negative attitude. But what I was learning as I got older is it really is contagious. And so if I was walking into something negative or just automatically feeling a certain way about it, whether I say it out loud or it's written on my face or I make a comment about it, other people feel that. Like, and whereas if you just look at it from a positive standpoint and you don't really have negative expectations or negative, I don't know, thoughts about whatever's going on, then you really can control it. That is something you can control. And so I think just being okay with that really made a huge difference. Like I do not like to be the person where someone's like, oh my God, I don't want to be around her. Exactly. She's so negative.
Exactly.
And like when someone said that to me one time, and this was a long time ago, it hurt me so much because I'm like, oh my God, like what do I need to reevaluate in myself so that I'm not presenting that outwardly? Like, let me deal with it and figure out what the problem is, because I never want to be seen as that person. So,
and really positivity begets positivity. When you are always in that mindset, people are actually more prone to be, to look out for you in 100%. A positive way.
Yeah. So. Yeah, so I liked that one. That was a good one. I had to add it to my own arsenal. But yeah, so we've talked about your social media a little bit and kind of what you post on there. And we know you're a coffee girl, so I have to ask, what is your favorite local or, you know, coffee shop in the area? And then, where can we find that?
So I recently have been getting into a lot more in Foxtail and all of the different areas. But the one like North Riverview is never, you can never find a seat. You can never find a spot.
Yeah.
So I go to the one closer to, I think it's USF on Fowler. I think it's on Fowler. Yeah. So I go to that one that
one's pretty good.
Actually find a spot. But yeah, going back on social media. So my social media is Jin Lu, my first name and last name, .living in Florida. It's pretty much all across the board. I post on there, you know, my just restaurants that I've been going to, or like, hey, tips and tricks to when you're purchasing a home, or like, hey, look at this really cool listing that's just went live.
So you have both your business and your personal on there, right?
So yeah, I would say that one is business focused, but yes, I do have like personal touches to it for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's my favorite right now? Have you gone to the Blend?
No, I have not.
I love the Blend.
Is it in Riverview?
The closest one is Palmetto. You have to remember I moved from St. Pete, so I'm so used to everything being right there. But I just am in love with that place, and I was so glad to find Palmetto is like not super far, but they have, similar to like what a lot of places are doing now, they have like the coffee flights, the seasonal flavors, they have food, they also have like alcohol, I think. But
okay, awesome.
If you like if you like Foxtail, I think you would really like this place. Okay. But that is like my go-to all the time.
Okay,
but
I'll have to
I wish it was in
time.
Riverview.
I'll have to take some time to go out there.
And yeah, I think that too, back to the personal touches on your socials, it really builds that trust before the transaction. And I think especially with real estate agents, but also even with what I'm doing, you really have to build that, they call it demand creation before you can do your hardest post. So if you're constantly putting those tips out there and constantly telling people this is what you should do, this is what you could do, pros, cons, places to visit when they do move here, I think people are going to have they're going to seek you out over somebody who's just like, here's a house.
Right. And you know, sometimes I would post funny videos and then people are like, oh yeah,
it shows people you're a person though.
Right. Or reminding them,
not a robot.
Oh yeah. Oh, she's still in business. Yeah, she's still in real estate. Let me go talk to her. I actually have a real estate need. Things like that.
Yeah, so I definitely I love what you're doing. Like I wish more real estate agents were that personal, honestly.
Thank you.
I think a lot of people do too much separation between personal and business, and sometimes you have to, like politics or whatever.
Yeah,
but true. When your job is being personable, show the people you're a person. Like I never understood that. And I was guilty of it too in the beginning, like that hard line between personal and business brand, especially when you are your business brand. So I think you've done a really, like, if you guys go look at her page, she's done a really great job of integrating the two. And so I wanted to commend you on that. And then I guess we will end with, if you were to give someone advice about going for their real estate license right now, it's their first time doing it, what is maybe some advice you wish you had, or what is some advice that you being in the game now that you could give them?
Some of the things I wish I knew before starting in real estate was definitely, if you're going into it full time, you have to ask yourself, do I have at least 6 months worth of savings? And that 6 months is, you know, you got to be able to pay mortgages or rent, and then get gas, buy groceries, all that. Yeah, it's very important, because a lot of people that is their first year in real estate, they may not sell even one house. And then sure, that paycheck can be anywhere from $6,000 to $8,000, but you can't live on $6,000 to $8,000 in 1 year. So if anybody's like seriously considering going into real estate, I would say maybe talk to a realtor friend that you actually do know of and ask them, hey, what's the most difficult part? And a lot of times it's, you have to be out there. You have to, maybe you're a super introverted person, then it may be a little bit difficult if you don't already have like a huge, what we call sphere of influence. You don't have like, you know, a lot of friends and family in the area. It can be very difficult. So yes, have emergency savings ready, at least 6 months time, if not more, because you have a lot of cost that comes with being a realtor. And then
which I didn't even realize.
And then just gather enough information, listening to different podcasts, speaking to your realtor friends, and ask them if they think you will be doing a good job.
Yeah, something for any industry that I will always tell people to do is get a mentor. Find somebody who, even if they haven't been doing it and they're not like a dinosaur in the game, if they've been there for, let's go with, for real estate, that 3-year mark, find somebody who has made it past that dropout point and really get with them, because you're going to probably do things different, have different opinions, but they're going to be able to show you things that a textbook or the internet or even a podcast can't tell you. And especially find somebody, you know, that you can personally trust and work with.
Yeah, for sure.
With me, it's really hard because there's not a lot of people doing what I'm doing. So I'm going to end up turning into the mentor, I guess. But I wish I had one. I use Jamie as my regular mentor, because in life and in womanhood and in business, she is what and who I want to be.
Wow.
So I had to find somebody to emulate that is doing those things. It might not necessarily be my business. And so I say that because if you are looking, say, for like a real estate mentor, and you're like, oh, I don't know anybody that's doing the same thing as me, find somebody that can mentor you that might have other priorities or opinions or similarities to you that will still lead you in a correct direction, because you can do it all on your own. But instead of it taking 10 years, it might take 3 to 5.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think that would be the biggest takeaway from that. But
and I think, it's the same thing, you know, about entrepreneurship. It's a lot harder when you're trying to create your own path. However, if you can find somebody that has already done all that, they've walked the walk, then it will make the whole thing
don't
a lot
reinvent
easier.
The wheel.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, well, thank you, Jin. So, is there anything else that you want to say?
Maybe just follow my social media. Again, Jin Lu. It's JINLU living in Florida. Aside from different tips and tricks about living in Tampa area, restaurants and all that, I also host a lot of events. So
yes, you do.
Yes, I enjoy bringing people together. The last one I did was called Barks and Brew, where I hosted at a brewery with the dog park.
It was awesome.
And I bring in charity partners. So I thought, hey, it would be a cool idea if I can have people, you know, bring out their dogs and socialize. Sure, having drinks, that's great. But what's even more impactful for me was I felt like, hey, I have all these people here. What is there something I can do that kind of like gives back to the community.
Mm-hmm.
So I invited this animal shelter called Friends of Strays. And they came out. We did a raffle for them, and we raised funds that will go into the animal shelter, buying them food and enrichment and all that. So that was my most recent event that just passed, and I have a new one that's coming up called. I haven't had like the full idea ready yet, but it will be an ice cream social. And
People love ice cream.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's like so hot now. It will be in the Milkshakes factory that just opened in Riverview.
Oh, have you been there?
I have been there, but I was before it was open. I know the owner, and I went there. I was like, I thought it was the opening. I walked in, they were doing trainings, and I was like, oh, hey, Michael, what's going on? And he was like, oh, did you thought it was today? No,
they weren't open yet?
No, they weren't open. So.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah.
I saw it open and I drove by and I was like, oh my God, I really want to go there.
Yeah.
But every time we go by, it's like not my time to like have a good tree, you know? like I feel like that's really caloric. So
yeah, it is. I
mean, I'm gonna do it. I'm things in moderation.
Well, yeah, you can treat yourself.
I was curious is it kind of like what's that place called? Like I think the Yard or something, the Milkshake, I don't know. It's in Tampa. Is it like a milkshake bar? Is that?
It is, I would say, kind of like an ice cream shop, milkshake shop. I wouldn't say it's like a bar area that it is because I felt like an ice
like
cream...
a make your own or is
no.
Okay.
You will be served over there.
You will be served. Okay. Stay away from. I'm just kidding.
Anyhow, going back to the ice cream social, I will come up with a cute name to go with it. But we're buying probably to 25 families their ice creams or milkshakes.
Aww.
And then the point is I'm drawing people to come in and help donate to the school supply drive. I'm partnering up.
That's perfect.
I'm partnering up with Hillsborough Education Foundation. They support a lot. I was a school teacher in my past life. I was a school teacher, so I understand
the needs.
There's a lot of times that I have to spend a lot of my personal money in order to replenish some school supplies or different things. So I want to partner up with them, and they do a lot of I think they said 4 times a year a school teacher can shop in their school supply warehouse for free, shop for free.
Yeah.
So they can replenish the things instead of paying out of their own pocket. So that is my next event. It will come up on my social media whenever I get all the details hashed out. So yeah, definitely follow.
That sounds awesome. I look forward to hearing more about that because as you know, Lewis was a teacher. He just taught his first year, 4th grade. And they gave him a run for his money, let me tell you.
I bet they love him. He's so funny.
He was honestly just a big 4th grader. Like he really is. But it did help him a lot in terms of like personal like parenting life with our son. He's like, oh, I see why routine is important. You know, all those like small little things. And then I don't know if I ever told you this, but I taught a year in PE and health when I first came back from deployment. And I was like, oh, I never want to do this again. Like I never. So
it's not easy.
Teachers are built different because wow. And I wasn't even in the classroom, so I couldn't even. And I had 6th and 7th graders, and they're their own kind, like they're their own breed. What grade did you have?
I'm scared of 6th and 7th grade. I was teaching 2nd, so it was
okay. So
you
had the cute ones. Like
I got cuter, but they also touch you with all the germs, you know.
6th and 7th graders got germs too, but I could do K to 2. I think. But and also you have the same kids all day. I think that's a huge difference. With me, I was the rotating schedule, like A and B. So I had like 80-ish kids every day. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, this is awful.
Yeah, and you gotta try to memorize all their names.
Yeah, so teachers are built different and they 100% need that. So I am looking forward to hearing about that. But yeah, is that it for you?
Or? Yeah, that's all for me.
Well, thank you for joining me, Jin. This has been so fun. I feel like I got to know you so much better.
Aww.
But this has been the Natasha Effect. And so it's a space for perspective shifts, real talk, figuring it out as we go. If you're navigating your own first or you fall into boxes that people kind of just try and place you in, this really is the place for you. And so until next time, keep growing, keep questioning, and just stay true to you, even when it's unfortunate. And that is the Natasha effect.
Woo! Thank you for having me.